already. It is around 25 degrees this morning, and we got a little bit of light coming in here. It's kind of blinding to me, but nice thing is the sun comes up on this side, so it warms us up. But right now it's 25 degrees. That's why you see me with a cup of coffee, a hat, and a coat inside the trailer. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a harsh lesson, because when you're homeless, it is a harsh lesson in minimalism. When you first come out and you first go on the streets, you end up taking all the crap you don't need and leaving all the crap you do need back home. And then you also realize that most of the stuff that you need, that you thought that you needed, you never really actually needed. And then, because it depends upon your setting. What's up, Cherokee? It depends upon your environment and the setup that you got. Are you doing urban? Are you doing rural? Are you doing out in the sticks? Are you doing trail? Are you doing rails? Are you rubber tramping it? How is it that you are going to travel? And then what ends up happening is you got to build your gear around that. But most people, when they become homeless, especially the homeless the first time, they bring so much crap that they don't need. They bring things that are just useless, and most of the time, people end up dropping most of the stuff and having to start over. So what we'll end up talking about today is not only kind of how to get yourself set up, or at least to think about it if you're gonna prepare to be homeless. And we'll talk about the setup, and we'll talk about some other things as well. Sorry guys, still kind of waking up and stuff. But okay, I'll tell you a couple of stories. I'll tell you one personal story, and then I'll also tell you a story that I heard when I was on the Pinhoti. Because some of you guys asked me, well, what's your favorite trail? My favorite trail was the Pinhoti, the Alabama side, not the Georgia side. I prefer Alabama when it comes to doing the Pinhoti. Also, if you're gonna go on the Pinhoti, make sure you stop by the Pinhoti Outdoor Center. Those guys are awesome. They're a great resource. They could give you movement up and down the trail. They can let you know where cool things are and stuff like that. They'll be very helpful to you. But the thing is, so I'm at the Pinhoti Outdoor Center, and a southbound guy who's doing the ECT comes up and comes into the hostel, and he starts telling about a guy that he met when he first got on trail. And this guy had one of these wagons, because everybody says, oh, you need to do a wagon. And I've completely turned it down, and most of the reason why I've turned it down is because of this story, because this guy had probably about a good 2,000 pounds worth of gear in this trailer. It was like a horse trailer. He had about 2,000 pounds or so, and it took him a week to move that thing like a quarter to a half a mile. It was just something else. And the guy kept trying to give away stuff. Guy kept dropping stuff, kept, dropping all this other stuff. And the guy that was telling the story kind of sat the guy down and explained to him, like, no, man, this is way too much. And this is another guy that was homeless on trail. He'd been on trail for over over a year at that point in time. Started in Minnesota and worked his way from Katahdin all the way down to Key West eventually. At least that's what I think he did, because that's where he was heading. And so yeah, he being homeless kind of had to explain to the guy the same thing that all homeless end up learning, which is a lesson in minimalism. What is it that you really need? Farm Girl is still kind of learning this, and we kind of got a little bit of a lesson in it last night, even though we're on a property and we're static and we can actually store stuff and stuff like that. It's still trying to be minimalist and not have a lot of stuff, not have a lot of clutter, not have a lot of useless stuff that you'll never use. And so the floor has been cold, and it's like, well, we've got a foam mattress that we scavenged, and so let's go ahead and use the foam mattress. Well, it's a twin size, so if you want any movement, it's going to be a little hard, but at least it keeps you warm. Understanding your environment and understanding what you need as a sleep system. Even if you are in the urban setting, if you can find and stash a foam mattress, or get one that is that you can actually fold up and put some cardboard under, you will be able to survive cold nights so comfortable nobody will know. You won't even realize that you were sleeping outside, because you wake up, you're nice, you're warm, you're toasty, and the cold doesn't feel so bitter because you were warm all night long. Okay, so the most important thing if you're going to go outside is just to worry about a sleep system. You want something that is compact, something that's not going to weigh a lot. You're going to want something like, if you're going to be doing the urban setting, you can't do a tent. But if you're going to be, if you have forested area, you have a choice between a tent, which is going to bring a lot of attention, or you can do a hammock like what I do, which really kind of blends in. And you can kind of stick back there in places where tents can't go, because with the tents, it's all about the ground. Whereas with the hammock, it's all about just having two trees far enough behind, and you can kind of stamp down a little bit of the foliage so it doesn't mess up your hammock, and so therefore it gives you a little bit more versatility. But just having your sleep system and having it way less and be able to fit even in, let's say, a Jansport or a school bag, just to be able to put it in there, because you may have to roam around with just that stuff. A lot of people, what they really like to do is they like to bring like a week or a month's worth of clothes, thinking that they're going to be able to change every day like they did at home. And this is a harsh wake up call, because you'll learn that you'll be lucky to, unless you want to spend your whole day going for a shower, the it's just, yeah, spending your whole day going for a shower is, it becomes time consuming. And then with the time consuming, you could be doing things more productive, like looking for work or figuring out how to get more resources so that you can make yourself a little bit more comfortable out here. Okay, so um uh, you know bringing all those clothes is generally not good. Another thing is most people bring cotton and all these indoor clothes, and a lot of these indoor clothes, they work for you because you can wash them on a regular basis. What's up, Patriot? You can wash them on a regular basis, you can store them, and so on and so forth. But with cotton, and non-antibacterial stuff, so you're looking at wool, you're looking at polyester, you're looking at the plastic crap. Like, see this right here, this right here, I can wear this for days and it's not going to get a lot of bacteria. Because what happens, and every homeless person ends up learning this, what ends up happening is you start getting rashes in places you don't want to get rashes, because it holds on to that bacteria. And then you realize you can't go get a shower every day, because at least 25 years ago, going to get a shower was like, uh, that was gold. To find a place to go get a shower, usually you had to go into a gas station bathroom and take a bird bath. But I guess they got tired of us taking bird baths in the gas station and said, well, we don't want them to stink and they do need a shower, so let's go ahead and build them a shower house. So maybe over the last 10 years, a lot of shower houses have popped up. But when I first started, getting a shower was, you had to go take a bird bath. But that is still washing your clothes. That takes money. You are outside because you don't have money. You spent all your money. And so, having stuff that is antibacterial, something like the polyesters, the wools and stuff like that. But you got to be careful also, because I tried to toast my darn tough socks on the heater, and they melted instantly. It was the polyester in them that melted. It wasn't the wool. Because it's like 60% wool, 40% polyester. And so it was a real pain. But you really want to think about the clothes you wear, and considering you can't change your clothes all the time, you want one to wear, one to wash. So and that is the most that you want to be able to have, because like I said, most people bring weeks to a month's worth of clothes. I'm going to bring 7 pairs of socks and 10 pair of underwear and 10 shirts and 10 pairs of pants. And it's like, dude, how are you going to carry all of that all around with you? And what about all that other essential gear that you need? So you have to learn how to be able to be compact with how you live, and learn that you only need the essential things. See, that's really what minimalism is about. And I wonder if it was a homeless guy who just, everybody looked at him and said, wow, you live really cheaply, not realizing that being a homeless person, you're a minimalist. Or it was somebody who got to know a homeless person who thought that, hey, this is a good idea, and then it became a fad. But homelessness had something to do with minimalism, because this is something, your house is on your back. Unlike, being able to go to a static dwelling, to be able to go into a house that you've got a key on, everything you have is on your back. And if you live in a car, well, everything you have is there. And all that weight is going to affect your gas mileage. And so unless you have lots and lots of money to spend on gas, you're still going to have to minimalize not only your weight, but everything else that you do. Okay, but a lot of people don't really think about that. They think about comfort and luxury when they get into the whole van life. But as a homeless person, going from sleeping outside to being in here, I still take that minimalist attitude, and I still put it, forward. I mean, uh, yeah, I still in here. If you look around, with the exception of the blankets that are on the walls, none of this stuff is mine. Because the thing is, all I have is just my backpack and what I've been living out of for the last 2.5 years. And so having a lot of stuff and a lot of clothes, like this is the most clothes I've had in over 2 years, which is I got two pair of pants. I got a pair of PJ bottoms. I got two shirts, and I got a thermal, and plus my coat and my hat, of course. But I have all of these things. This is all I have, so I can't really fill a house. There's a lot of vacant space, so that's probably the reason why you move a woman in, so she can fill up all the vacant spaces that you have.
Hey, I think it's tools.
Yeah, you're a different kind of woman, though, Feral Farm Girl. Mm. But it's living a minimalist lifestyle, understanding that you need very, very little. So we've talked about clothes, we've talked about sleep gear. Now, if you're in an urban setting, you cannot do any cooking. People that give homeless people, canned stuff, that unless it's like a can of raviolis with a pop top, most homeless don't have, they don't have a they don't have a way to cook. And if they do, what they're doing is they're starting a fire in the woods, or they're starting a fire on the sidewalk, and they're taking some pot that they scavenge, and then they're cooking something up. Okay, there's no real organization to it, because when you're homeless, especially in an urban setting, what ends up happening is you go to feed lines, and again, that takes time because you got to stand in line and da 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 da, and so therefore you've got to walk from one side of town to the other side of town just to make sure that you can get at least 2 meals a day. Because when you're homeless, you also learn to minimalize your eating. You're going to eat a big breakfast if you can, and a bigger dinner, if possible. But nowadays you can't even go through for seconds anymore, because that used to be the way you did it. You skip lunch, so that you could be more productive. But you when it comes to cooking, getting you could do a rocket stove, and those are cool. Especially if you're in a pinch and you don't want to be buying butane and things like that, you could do, if you go back into my shorts, I actually have a video on that. I had a guy in Cincinnati last year. He did a demo for me, on how to do, like an urban hobo, rocket stove, which is just take he'll tell you the equipment. It's all in there. But yes, they do need to be in all caps. But uh, with your cooking system, you could do a little bit of a rocket stove, but you're still gonna have to go on something like Amazon and get like a camper's cook set. Basically, a pot, a pan, a fork, a spoon, a knife, and sometimes they even come with the little butane burners if you want to buy butane. Okay, but for the most part, you need to have some sort of cook system, and it doesn't really take up a lot of space, in your pack. Your clothes and your sleep system are going to take up more than anything like that. But then also another thing that you need to consider is water. Like, a lot of these municipalities, they have, their water system is contaminated. Whether it be because of the pipes or because they're not doing the proper, the proper sanitation, kind of like what we saw in Flint, and it's happening all over the country. Just Flint was the one that made national news. Okay, so you might want to consider something like that if you don't trust your local water supply as far as water goes, but you also got to make sure you understand proper care. Now, the other thing about minimalism, compared to being homeless, is that when you're a minimalist, your whole goal, just like a hiker and just like a prepper, your whole goal is to take care of your gear as best as possible, to make sure that it lasts as long as possible. You're going to spend a little bit more money on gear that you like, that is quality, such as my hammock. I mean, I could have got the whole setup for about $100, but I spent 300 on it total, just between my underquilt and my hammock. But that was to make sure that I had a nice warm sleep system, because for me, sleeping warm at night is probably one of the most important things, because it sets the tone for the day and my ability to handle the extreme temperatures. Because when I wake up and I'm warm and I'm toasty, I could go outside in 25-degree temperatures and it's not as brutal. But if the floor is cold, I'm not getting any really good heat retention, not because of my blankets, but because of what I'm sleeping on. Well, then that makes the cold even more brutal. And you might think that it actually helps you, it helps you acclimate more by staying cold, but it doesn't, because your body wants some sort of reprieve. We as human beings are way too domesticated, for everything that is going on. So, this is the lesson in minimalism. When it comes to being homeless, learning how to have little and make it as functional as possible, so that you can navigate and you can move around. Okay. You guys have also seen like my freeze dried food, but that's for nomads like me, or people that are hiking trail like I did, or people that are riding rails. Well, no. Well, riding rails, yeah, you probably want to be able to have some of the food stuff that I have, because it makes it easier to cook. But the thing is, everything is powdered in water. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go back and look at questions, and I'm gonna open up the floor to open comments, and then from there, we'll start closing out. But just so you guys know, this channel is funded by crowdfunding. So anything you put in the tip jar that allows me to make this keep this as a free resource for the homeless, which, I mean, it needs to be for those that are coming homeless and those that are about to be homeless, because they need a resource. Most homeless people, especially those that watch this channel, that either are homeless or have been homeless, one of the most common things that I have heard from them is that they wish that there was a resource like this when they first became homeless, and might have helped them have a much better experience or navigate the system a lot better. I've got over 1,000 videos that I've got up. I'm just trying to organize it over on my website, but this is what the tips in my tip jar go towards, and it's also what memberships over on Patreon go for. So let's see here. So what's up, Cherokee? What's up, Patriot? How did you and Takumi? Oh, I don't know if she answered it, but Patriot, she was one of my newer subscribers. When Pebbles was in my ear, Farm Girl was being a little flirty, and Pebbles actually noticed it. But Pebbles kind of wanted to have an open relationship, so but I'll leave that alone. But so she was tickled pink. She wasn't offended by it at all. And so yeah, and then after Pebbles and I went our separate way, I stuck around to see if it happened. But yeah, she was a subscriber. So what's up, Brian? Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I was just wondering, I'm not someone online, sort of, and haven't seen what each other even look like. Didn't know how to approach. Patriot, you're good, man. You don't have to worry about it. What's up, Patriot? Uh, Being in the army made me rugged for being in the bush with not changing for 3 to 4 days. Yes, but the thing is, the difference between the army and being homeless or bugging out is logistics. Okay, Marine Corps, in the Marines, they call them sea bags. I don't know what they call them in the Army. I think they're called rucksacks or something. But in the Marine Corps, they call them sea bags. And so your 80-pound or 100-pound sea bag has all of your gear in it, and then you have your stuff that you go out in the field with. that is durable and as lightweight as possible. I think most soldiers carry about 60 pounds on their back, which the military does get in trouble for overpacking their soldiers because of just the amount of gear that they require them to carry and what the human body can actually do. So you want us to be skinny, but we can only take 25% of our weight, and then you're putting about 40% of our weight on our back. So you end up having, that's why, you know, a lot of infantrymen and stuff like that who are out beating around the bush have knee and ankle and back issues, is because they had to carry all that stuff. And the military wasn't really thoughtful about weight. They were more thoughtful about durability and not having to replace it. And so that's why most of your gear is so heavy. But you had somebody that was constantly moving your stuff around for you. When you went from one base or one duty station to another, a lot of that stuff was transported for you. You didn't have to carry it with you. That's the great thing about the military. They have great logistics. They know how to keep the war machine going. But when you're out here on your own, you don't have that logistics. You are your logistics. So I mean, that's you know, for those of you that have been in the military, that's probably going to be one of the most important things you're going to have to learn, is that the military overweighed you, so you need to quit going for the high weight stuff. But also you need to understand your own logistics. And there are people that like to dig up and put little holes and stuff like that. Let's see. 6th Street Garage. Did I choose to be homeless? Yes, I did. Tuck, this channel is resource for the homeless. Yes. Thanks, Beth. Much appreciated. I'm not homeless yet. Worry about it. Well, Patriot, do what Kung Fu and Occult have done. I know that they've gone through and watched all my videos. If you watch every single one of my videos, including my lives, I would say do the videos first and then do the live streams second. If you go back and you do those live streams or do those videos, you will learn everything you needed to know, plus things you never even thought. It's like it answers all your questions plus the questions you didn't know that you had. Okay, because when you've been chronically homeless 25 years, when you've been all over this country being homeless over that time, it's a whole different experience. It's a whole different skill set. It's a whole different knowledge base, you know, versus being in the urban setting. Because in the urban setting, you can get away with having almost nothing. If you just have a change of clothes and a sleep system, that's really all you need. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Feral Farm Girl, on the lookout for what you'll call it. Okay. We love your help that you give here. Well, thanks, Clyde. You know, I really appreciate every one of you guys too as well. But just so you guys know this, we are funded through crowdfunding, so anything in the tip jar, because we need to do shower and laundry, and we're kind of tapped out. I could use like $20 right now, just so that we can go get a shower and stuff like that for the day. Because payday isn't until like another like 12 days. So no, not 12, about another 10 days. So, and that's already spent anyway. So I don't even get to keep that. But anyways, guys, and this week, as far as my prospecting goes, for me to be able to do even more monetization of this channel, for those of you, I've been telling you, I've been trying to get, you know, consulting and speakership gigs so that people can ask me whatever questions they want to ask me. There's one over on Patreon already. It's $50 a month, but you'll get specialized content and you'll get to be able to sit back and talk to me. We'll use something like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or something like that to do a chat back and forth. You know, a visual or verbal chat. It just depends upon how my signal is. You know, but you know, you can pick my brain and ask any question that you want, and get detailed answers that are geared towards you and your specific situation, versus how I do my normal content. It's a blanket statement, to be able to inform the masses instead of just informing such a tiny group of people, because there are people that are about to be homeless. There are people that are prepping, you know, and look at their bug out situation as being homeless, or they understand their vulnerability, so they're prepping for that as a possibility as well. I mean, you got all kinds of different reasons why people watch this channel. Okay, and for all of you, I greatly appreciate it. So anyways, guys, let's see if we have any more questions, and then I'm going to close this out. Tuck Patriot was asking if buying clothes is cheaper than washing, and how long it took to get monetized. It took me 11 months to get monetized, but I was doing a lot of videos. I think I did like 300 videos just to get monetized. So just learn something new about the whole thing. If you really want advice on how to, what YouTube is really like, over the last couple of days, Nick Nimmin, okay, go check out his channel. Nick Nimmin, he just basically, he told me everything I already knew, everything I've learned over the last 2 years that I've been doing YouTube. And he put it in a clear, concise, straight to the point. You should definitely, I might even share it in the community tab, because it's a real insight on what YouTube and all of the work that goes into it. Okay, now as far as clothes, is it cheaper to buy clothes? Well, if you're homeless in an urban setting, they give you clothes for free. So why buy clothes? Usually what the homeless will do is wear their clothes until they can, until they're just done with it. And then they'll go to the clothing store, get new clothes, and then throw their dirty clothes in the trash, which is very wasteful. But this is the way, this is the flaw in the system, and it's done by design. Okay, so Chattanooga is doing this, but then you have all of these foreigners and the Californians that are coming in there and buying it up from the clothing banks, and tapping into that resource, and then going and selling it on Etsy in different regions for higher prices, which therefore takes away from the homeless. But the Chattanooga Rescue Mission doesn't give you an opportunity to do laundry. So you wear your clothes for about 3 days, you get a nice set of new clothes, because you guys were saying, man, you look really nice. Because I mean, I was wearing polos and slacks and dress shirts, because that's what they were giving you there. But you wore it for like 3 days, and then you took it off and you threw it away and got a new set of clothes, because they never offered either to a recycle. So like in Cincinnati, one of the best, you go into the shower house and they do your laundry, so it comes back 48 hours. So what I would do is I would keep my one pair of clothes on me, and then my pair to wash, instead of keeping it in my bag, I let them hold on to it. And then when I came in every 3 days for a shower, I would pick up my new set of clothes, take those clothes, give that to them. Now that not only conserved on clothes, but it allowed me to have clothes that I liked, that was good, that I could keep, instead of, oh well, they're dirty, I got to get rid of them, and I've got no way to wash them unless I have money. Okay, because again, you got to learn how to live with like no money. If you think that you're gonna make a lot of money as a homeless channel starting out on YouTube, I will tell you, unless you're on there, my hurts, and trying to play on people's heartstrings and get them to feel sorry for you. Those are the people that will, that you might make some money. Okay, you might make some money in your tip jar. Okay, but they're never really going to amount to anything, because they don't bring any value to the community, other than sob stories and people who watch all the homeless channels because they want to, whatever their reason is. Because there are people that I know that do it for one reason or another, including watching this channel. And they will tell you, and I've actually had them tell me, because I know some people that do that, is that yeah, this channel actually has something. Okay, but I was part of the reason why I lost so much weight is because I was starving. I couldn't, it took me a minute to get my food stamps, and once I got my food stamps, that kept me going for most of the month. But if I needed food, or I came across a place that didn't take food stamps, or if I was in an urban setting and I used my food stamps because they had no feed houses or stuff like that, and I was trying to be productive, not waste my time standing in line all damn day, it became an issue. And so it just, you're not, don't count on the tip jar. I don't. Whenever I get a tip in the tip jar, I look at it as just a blessing. This is, I don't get a chance to stand out on a street corner and panhandle. Okay, so that I can make up for what I'm short on, while I work on building this channel, building my reputation, and building this as a revenue base. And at one point, before I got here to Arizona, it gave me the confidence, because I'd finally hit that pinnacle. But things kind of changed, and as you change, it becomes more of an issue. But it's just, this is my way of trying to keep myself afloat and still be productive, instead of standing out on a street corner and going, hey, uh, too ugly to prostitute, please help, something like that. It just, when you're out there on a street corner, that takes time away from you going and looking for work or doing other productive things. Okay, so I let my content be the way in which I do that while I'm working on building myself an income base, so that now not only, but the thing is if I'm drowning, I can't help those that are drowning themselves, because we'll all drown. And so my biggest goal is to get to a point where I'm sustainable enough to where I can start taking every ounce of excess funds and resources I have to start giving back to the community, that I talk about, because I think it's really bad, especially for homeless content creators. I think that if you are going to talk about homelessness and be in the homeless community, you need to give back, because, yeah, you're not necessarily exploiting the homeless, but you're making money off of us. And I'm making money off of the homeless situation. And so I think it is your duty and your obligation for being in this genre, in this niche, in this community, that you, if as a content creator or somebody who is a voice of the homeless, you really do need to give a majority of what it is you make back to the community that you talk about, to make the impacts, to prove your points. Okay, because a lot of what I'll end up doing when I start getting to that point where I start doing charitable work is that I will be using that as a platform to be able to implement my ideas to make changes within the homeless industrial complex that will make a positive impact on homelessness long term. Because honestly, every homeless person that watches this channel, they're on board. They have the same goal that I do. They want it to get better. It shouldn't be this bad, and the crap that we have to deal with, it's not right. Okay, so let me see if we got a couple more questions, because I went off on a tangent. Excellent info texting. Yeah, no worries, Beth. Okay. I don't like people use the homeless for their channels to get content and act like they care. Yeah, I know. Well, those people care, but I think it has to do a lot with the way that society is. We have gotten to a point where we're so domesticated that that we're having an awakening in conscience and humanity, and it's taking a while to transition. But people like that, what they're trying to do is they're trying to start that engine of humanity towards the homeless and towards their fellow man who's in a lesser position. On one hand, yeah, I completely agree with you, but on the other hand, no. It's about 25 degrees right now. So, yes, thank you, Patriot. Okay. So, all right, guys, I will see you in tonight's live stream. I'm running low on power and stuff, so with everything. But you guys know how to help the channel. Leave a tip in the tip jar. Come on over to Patreon. Enjoy one of my many memberships. Everything's down in the description. Thanks for being here, and don't forget to share and comment if you're watching this. Don't forget to share, because this helps me in the algorithm. Thanks for being here. I'll see you. I'll see you guys tonight.